Oh, well, good morning, everybody. Travels with Dottie here. We got me, Rob, and Dottie, my travel companion. And you could call this a day in the life of a full-time nomad RVer over 60, right? So today, I gotta do laundry. I got nothing left. I have no choice. Laundry must be done today, or else I'll be wearing dirty clothes. We don't want that. So there's basically two options here I'm in Eagle Nest, New Mexico. Beautiful place in northern New Mexico. 8,300 feet. High temps in the 70s pretty much every day. I can go about 9 miles or so. I can go to Angel Fire to do Little Town to do laundry, or I can go more like about 20 miles, which I'm doing today, to Cimarron. And Cimarron's a much older community. It's part of the Santa Fe Trail. It's got the historic St. James Hotel there, which I'll tag some videos on the end here. You can't shoot video, new owners, and you cannot shoot videos there anymore, sadly. But I have some from last year that I did, and I'll tag it on the end of this video so you can see that. But the other thing I'd like to do is, I think this is my second time through. There is a amazing museum called the Aztec Mill Museum in Cimarron, and I want to go through there again. It's just so fascinating, a museum, and I'm going to take you with me on that. And I think I'm going to spare you the road view here. I've done the Cimarron Canyon road view so many times that I'm probably going to bore the heck out of people. So there's just a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about on the way. I'll put the museum tour timestamp here. So if your preference is, you don't feel like listening to me go on about stuff today, I just want to see I want to see what that museum looks like. We'll put the timestamp right there so you can skip right to it. One of the things that is coming up as a topic amongst my my fellow YouTubers that are in this nomad RV space is a little bit of unnecessary drama and panic around the president's executive order regarding homelessness. And if you doubt me, just go in the description. I got a link there. You can click on it and you can just read the executive order. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I'm going to tell you this, that the only threat to this lifestyle related to that order is, and it's not really directly related to the order, it's something that's always been true. Whether you're camping in an RV or a car or a tent, and you're going to live, that's going to be your lifestyle. You can't park anywhere you want. There's ordinances and state laws and city ordinances, town ordinances, county ordinances, all sorts of reasons why you can't. They call it stealth camping, and are there nomads out there that stealth camp in urban areas and parking places they're technically not supposed to and they get away with it? Absolutely. But you're taking a risk, and you always have and you always will be taking a risk if you're going to live on the road and you're going to park in places you're not supposed to be. Right? I don't do that. I park on either public lands that allow me to park on there, and I comply with the rules. If the rule says you can only stay here 2 weeks, I only stay there 2 weeks. If it's like in Quartzsite in the LTVA, that's long-term visitor area, that will that'll be, you can go September 15th to April 15th. That's a long time. I don't stay that whole time, but I can, because I buy a permit and that's how long I can stay there. And no one's going to question whether or not I belong there or not. I stay in RV parks, and I have a RV spot with a casita down in Artesia that I've purchased. And I know you're gonna say, didn't you say you rented it? Well, it's sort of it's a hybrid of a rent and a purchase. You basically pay a lump sum up front, and you get use of the property for life, basically. To me, it's the same as owning it. I can stay there as long as I want until I decide when I want to leave, I can sell that right for the price I paid for it. Plus, it's a good deal. So anyway, I don't worry about ordinances and executive orders, because I do this lifestyle legally, and I do it certainly the part about what it costs on a monthly basis, your equivalent rent. I do it very frugally. I'm going to be, the most expensive thing I'm going to do all year is December, January, and February, 3 months. I'm going to be in an RV park, and it's going to cost me $1,000 plus electric. And you don't use a lot of, spoiler alert, you don't use a lot of electric in Quartzsite in the winter, because you're not going to be running your AC. If you do, it's going to be a small handful of days. And I still am going to use solar in the RV park, so it's going to be very small. So that's like 300, say for 3 months, that's $333 a month plus electric. And I bet my electric's going to be about $20, I would say. So we're talking $350 a month is my biggest out of pocket for quote rent that I pay all year round. Like here in Eagle Nest, it's less than $300. And when I'm at my home base, it's the cost of the utilities, which is $40, $50. So yes, you can do this lifestyle and not risk being, people say arrested or fined or whatever. Yeah, I guess you could get arrested if you're in an RV or a van or a car and you're living where you're not supposed to be, and you're breaking some law somewhere. But that's not new, folks. That's not a new thing. And what I think they're really trying to address is the really pretty significant urban homeless problem, in terms of, and I'm not saying that this is the right thing to do, but this is the intent. They're not thinking, well, let's do an executive order to target these people that are, retired, traveling around the country in the RVs. No. There are, if you look in big cities like Los Angeles, there are areas where the homeless encamp on public property. Some with broken down RVs, others with real tents, others with makeshift tents. They form these communities that are dangerous and unsanitary, and it's just, and frankly, illegal. And there's a sensitivity to being too tough on homeless people. So these communities often are allowed to stand the way they are, or they clean them up and they pop up around the corner, and it's sort of a never-ending thing. But that's what I think that the federal government is focusing in on, saying, hey, you really need to be tougher on this. And it does talk about treatment alternatives and things of that nature. And it talks about the involuntary hospitalization process, that's a whole nother topic that's handled state by state. I used to be in that business. I was a person that did evaluations for involuntary hospitalizations for people that were severely mentally ill, to the point where they're a danger to themselves or others, and that included many homeless people. But it's in certainly the state I'm very familiar with, Virginia, it's a high bar. You have to really, really prove to a judge that the person really is a danger to themselves or others, or can't take care of their basic needs, and they're going to be at significant risk of injury or death. Right? And on top of that, if you clear that bar and get somebody in the hospital, the average stay is about 2 weeks. Right? So that's not a proven solution to homelessness. It's a complicated topic, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't pretend to know what the answer is. I do know that if you're a nomad like me and you're following the federal, state, and local laws, you haven't got anything to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. You'll be fine. And I listened to one person that was, I think, a car or van lifer, and they do urban camping, and they want nothing to do with federal lands or Forest Service or BLM land, the legal places you can do this. I get it. I understand. Maybe you love urban camping, and as time goes on, there's probably going to be, I guess I gotta, just so you can see the most dramatic part of the trip here through the canyon. How can I not show that to you? Sorry. There are probably plenty of people watching this going, I can't stand it when you drive and you just point it inside. But this is like, the first time I came through here, I was stunned. It's like, did I take a wrong turn? Am I in the friggin' Grand Canyon or something? Or am I in Zion National Park? What's going on here? So this is Cimarron Canyon. And there's a beautiful stream on the left there that is just filled with trout. I'm not kidding, folks. It's filled with trout. No kidding. They stock it big time with rainbow. There's a few brown trout in there, but you're going to catch mostly rainbow. And it's a fisherman's paradise, really. So I'm gonna switch. Here we are. We're back. Dottie and I are back. So I feel for at least the young lady that was going on about it. I feel for her. Yet there are, I understand that for so many people, a traditional retirement in a regular home or apartment is beyond their means, and I'm very sympathetic to that. And the RV life is van life, RV life, car life is a great alternative to that. However, if that's not what you want to be in a stationary spot. There are alternatives. Every area that I've ever lived in has had a affordable housing, subsidized housing for low-income people that are acceptable. Now, the more urban the area is, maybe the less acceptable it is. But if you go outside those big urban areas, there are a lot of good programs. Do you have to go through a pretty comprehensive application process? Yes. Does it take a long time or waiting list long? Yes. But if you have perseverance and patience, you can get into subsidized housing. I'll give you a good example. My brother, whose birthday is today, I think he's 81 or 82. Happy birthday, Tad. I don't think you watch my videos, though. But if you do, happy birthday. He moved into a subsidized housing apartment in downtown Ithaca, New York, where my two sisters live. And it's a beautiful place. It's fantastic. And it's a godsend that we could get him into a subsidized place like that, where he could afford, with the most minimal, smallest Social Security payment I've ever heard of, and he survives just fine. He does more than survive. He thrives. He's doing great. And I had friends that were in subsidized housing, beautiful brand new apartments in Sandpoint, Idaho. They had to get on a wait list, and they persevered, and they got in, and it's a beautiful little place. So there are other options out there. You're kidding yourself if you don't understand you're taking a big risk if you're going to do the kind of camping or living in a vehicle in places that are not expressly designed for that purpose. In other words, RV parks, public lands, private properties where you're invited to stay, that kind of thing. And let's face it, even that, you got to be careful. You can go, there are plenty of places where you can go and buy your own land, and the government will say, you can't live in your RV on this land. There's plenty of places like that. So be careful with that too. So sometimes it takes research. If you want to do that, it takes research to find a place that you do. Even Little Eagle Nest here, the little village, you cannot buy property within the village limits, residential property, and live in your RV in it. They won't let you do it. If you're outside the village limits and you're in the county, guess what? You can. So you have to do research. The other thing is that can happen to you, conceivably, is that you can buy a piece of property, you can be living in your RV, everything's hunky-dory, and the ordinances change. Now, hopefully people that are already living would be grandfathered in, but I don't think there's any guarantee of that. You could be forced to sell your land and go someplace else. So don't let the fear-mongering and the clickbait that nomad life is over. Nomad life isn't even close to being over. It's not over. It's my opinion is it's only going to get bigger. But as it gets bigger, it logically follows that following the rules would probably be more important. The bigger the movement is, the more scrutiny it will get in terms of criticisms of those in the lifestyle that don't follow the rules and stay where you're supposed to stay and not stay where you're not supposed to be. And things can change, right? Things can change. I think it's highly unlikely that there'll be such dramatic changes that there won't be RV parks or public lands to camp on anymore. That could happen, They could pass laws saying no more RV parks. It's inconceivable. But here's the thing is being prepared for what could happen is actually a very good idea. And I don't always prepare for what's likely to happen as much as I prepare for what could happen. My worst fear would be all these avenues, including my home base, are outlawed. You can't do that anymore. And what I would do is I would shop around for some situation where I could live in a regular home or apartment someplace that I could afford. And I have no doubt that I could make that happen. There are lots of people become expats and they go to other countries where the cost of living is really, really super low. If you're not familiar with that and you have any interest in it whatsoever, there are thousands of YouTube videos of people that from the United States that move to foreign countries with a much lower cost of living. The ones I've been watching recently are these luxury condos that people are renting in Singapore that are just, it's mind-boggling that you can be in these luxury apartments and luxury complexes that would probably cost, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in the United States, and they're in there for, a studio for $400 or $500 a month. Lots of places you can live in this world on your limited Social Security. Even if you have a small amount, there's places where you can live comfortably. So there are lots of options out there. There's no reason to panic. And that's going to another country or finding a subsidized apartment complex or something. That's in my realm of semi-planning for what could happen, not what's likely to happen, because I don't think it's likely that, I just think this nomad lifestyle is going to get better and more convenient with technology. And let's face it, if there's a big movement of people out there like us living on four wheels or living on rubber tires in one way or the other, there could be industries that'll pop up to accommodate that, like different kinds of versions of RV parks that are affordable, that tiny home communities, things like that it's already starting to pop up. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking about the lifestyle, one thing to get out of your head is the idea that RV parks are super expensive. The truth is that many RV parks are really expensive, but not most. Right? A really gem of a community in New Mexico is called Truth or Consequences. And if you're my age, you're going, well, wasn't that the name of a game show? I think it's exactly right. And this town changed their name based on that TV show, because the TV show says any town that changed their names to Truth or Consequences will shoot our opening season there in your town. And that's what I can't remember what the name of the town was before they changed it, but they definitely changed it to Truth or Consequences. But there's a beautiful state park there, Elephant Butte State Park, on a gorgeous lake. And it's a really wonderful community. So anyway, I was staying there at the state park, and I had lunch with a fella that was living there. He kind of got stuck there. He had a fifth wheel with a big dually truck, and the truck broke down, and he couldn't afford to repair it. So he found an RV park there. Let me tell you something. It was so inexpensive. I think it was, when he went in there, it was less than $200 a month plus electric. It was so inexpensive that he said, I'll take two. So he got two spots next to each other, and that's where he lives. And he's like, I think I can afford to fix my truck now, but I don't care. I'm staying here. I love the RV park, and I love the town. I love the area of the country. So there are, and then the other end is, there are RV resorts that you can pay, in some well over $100 a night. That's over $3,000 a month in these RV resorts, which I guess it's nice. They have swimming pools and all sorts of pickleball courts and all sorts of amenities and activities and things. But you don't need to go to those places. I don't go to, I was a member. It cost me, I think, $2,700 to join Preferred RV Resort in Pahrump, Nevada, which is just a little less than an hour outside of Las Vegas and kind of a sleepy little desert town. But they had amenities. They had it. So the membership allowed me to stay there for up to 9 months out of the year. And with utilities, the spots were about $500 a month. With utilities, including electric. So like $500 a month when I was there, and I could stay up for 9 months of the year. And when I left, there were exceptions where if there was room, they kind of let you stay the whole year round. If there was room, I think they'd make you move spots. They don't want people like glomming onto a particular spot and making it their home forever. So they're people that were definitely grandfathered that the 9-month room rule doesn't apply to, but they still have to move every 9 months to a new spot. So what's my point? My point is that that's really affordable. $500 a month, including utilities and everything, is very affordable for a place to live. Not as good as that guy in Truth or Consequences, but this was it had lots. Oh, I was trying to tell you that the amenities that were in this place were very close to what you would call an RV resort, because they had not only a pool, but the pool was enclosed in glass you can open and close the enclosure. It was amazing. So you could be in the pool while it's freezing cold in the winter, and the pool was heated and it was surrounded by glass and it was warm in there. There was also a wonderful clubhouse with an indoor hot tub and a pool room, and they served breakfast and dinner 2 or 3 times a week especially during the winter season. And it was like, I don't know, $6 or $7 for a meal. And it was, they also had a woodworking, and I think there was it was mostly woodworking, but I think there were some metal things there too. It was enormous with really kind of commercial equipment. And all this stuff was there right in the RV park for that price. So I since sold that because I'm no longer a Pahrump resident. I moved to Artesia, New Mexico, to a fair, semi-similar kind of thing, but different. I have a place that I don't have to move out of. I can stay if I want to. I can just stay there all year round and not go to Eagle Nest, not go to Quartzsite. I could just stay there, and basically it would cost me whatever my electric and propane bill is, and there's a fee I pay about a little over $100. It comes out to about $100 a month, like a HOA. It's not an HOA, but it's kind of like an HOA fee, but $1,300. So I've talked a lot longer about this, but I went, those of you thinking about this lifestyle, that you watch videos, you get scared that it's going to be over and you can't do it. It's just, I'm sorry. I think it's nonsense. I really do. And I think this lifestyle is going to get better over time. It's going to become more affordable because I think there's going to be innovations, not only in the rigs, but innovations in places that you can stay that are going to be designed not just right now. RV parks mostly are designed for two types of people. There's vacationers, and there's lots of RV parks that keep people year round. And those, trust me, those aren't the resorts. Those are the less expensive ones. But there are very few of them that cater towards people that live on the road full time and just like to move from place to place like I do. But I think that's coming. I think that's coming. There are more and more places where you can buy RV spots with casitas like mine. They're all over the country. They're increasing in number. Now, people ask me, how do you find them? Well, I think the best, Facebook is your friend. You get on Facebook, and there are national groups that specialize in like RV spots for sale kind of thing. And you'll find listings all over the country and people commenting on them and reviewing them. And there are, every community that I've ever hung out in has had a local community, some kind of community Facebook page. There's several in Quartzsite. The one I'm on is Quartzsite Chatter, and there's like 60,000 members or something. And then there's the Eagle Nest community page here, and there's an Artesia community page that I'm a member of. And you go out there and you can find, and even on Facebook Marketplace, you can find individual people that, where it's legal, they'll have on their property, they'll have a pad and an RV hookups and everything, and they'll rent it to you full time. And usually those are really good deals. So there's lots of ways to find spots that you don't need to worry about. So we've arrived in Cimarron, and I'm gonna turn to go out the front here because we're gonna drive by the St. James Hotel, and we can't, you can't go into Cimarron and talk about history or go to a museum without at least showing the St. James Hotel. And it's there's a little sort of dip we go through up here in the road, and beyond that on the left you'll see the St. James. And right where the St. James is, we're gonna make a right, and we're arriving at 10 o'clock on the button, and the museum opens at 10 o'clock. How's that for timing, Dottie? Oh, Dottie's panting a little bit. We need to turn up the AC. So there's the St. James Hotel on the left there. And a large collection of famous figures from the West stayed in that hotel. And they have the guest registers to prove it. And it's a fascinating place, and you can see a lot about it in the video that I'll tag at the end of this one. But here we are at the Aztec Mill, and hopefully they're opening on time. And we'll go in, and I'm sure they've let me film before, but like always, I ask, and we will be back soon. And here we are at the Aztec Mill Museum, and we'll go in, even though we've done it several times before. We always, every year, ask permission. So I will be right back after I walk in and talk to them for a little bit. See you in a minute. Okay. Say that again.
Okay. In 1860, between 1860 and 64, he had this man come from New York and drop all this stuff. This is exactly how he wanted it.
Oh, wow.
It was a
So the
grist
mill,
mill.
the grist mill.
It was a
Okay.
grist mill for flour, and it was like 5,000 pounds of flour a day.
What's the sort of story and the legend about a wedding taking place on the fourth
Okay,
floor?
it's on the fourth floor, and it was his daughter.
Right.
And so we had all the Indians come for um yeah
Don't worry, I won't get you on camera. This,
they came on certain days. So on a day that they weren't here, and she was going with this captain, and he did not like the captain for some reason. I don't know why. He said, "You're not going to marry him." It was his oldest daughter, him and Lucy's older daughter. And no, and so she got married up there. They got a preacher to come and marry them. And then they went to Trinidad on their honeymoon and sent him a note saying they were already married.
I bet he wasn't very happy about
No,
that.
he was very angry. I heard
Isn't her wedding dress up there?
it is.
It is. Okay,
It's a
I'll
replica
definitely
of
check
her
that
wedding
out.
dress. Yes. There's a lot of history here. Like the bottom floor has the wheel that turned the water.
Right.
And then we have this floor, and then we have the one up there. It talks about the Baldy and Elizabethtown and Red River.
Right.
Also Dawson, the coal mill, the coal area where my grandfather died on the second bad explosion.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there was a lot of people there. And it was Dodge Phelps, and they closed it in 1950.
There's just so many artifacts that you have in here. It's amazing.
And they're real.
Oh, absolutely. Everything looks absolutely authentic.
Yeah.
Even I was noticing the guns up here. I know a lot of my viewers would be interested.
Oh yes.
Interested in that.
And collectors. And this two-headed cow was born on at WS, and I know the man Clyde Malone.
Oh, I see.
And
yeah.
the two-headed cat did not live very long because he couldn't eat, right?
Live just long enough for the taxidermist. Huh?
Yeah. Well, no, the taxidermist got it. He died.
Right, yeah, I know what you.
So that was a replica. This is where the Indians came. That's him. And him and Kit Carson turned out to be good friends. And there's Kit Carson. And
Kit Carson's over here.
Yeah, in Rayado together. But him and Kit Carson were on the Santa Fe Trail helping Fremont to do the Santa Fe Trail. So he did a lot of the helping. Even when he was married, he would leave loose and go off with him and to do exploring,
Oh, this is Kit Carson's Masonic sword belt. That's real, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
real.
wow.
So the one up that Kit Carson lived at Rayado, and he built this home here. And there's a river beyond there, that orchard over there.
Right.
That's where he did all his oats and rye and all that planted all that. And he had every kind of cat. He had cattle, he had goats, he had sheep, he had all kinds of things in that area. And of course, I'm sure that there was more water in that river than there is now. But up further, there is a little thing that you could turn. You'd let the water come in more.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Water engineering.
Yes.
Touch Me Not. Is that named after the mountain? Touch Me Not mountain.
Okay, and Fred Lambert was the son of the Lambert that was the cook at St. James that started the hotel.
Right.
And so he lived next door here, and he was an expert painter. So you go up to the third floor, there'll be some paintings of Fred Lambert. Mm-hmm. But he was also a sheriff in this area. And he lived right next door in that house back there.
Right.
And my mother used to work at one of the oldest houses here.
Now, wasn't Fred Lambert the guy that got shot in Tombstone? Is that the same sheriff?
I don't recall that.
I'll look it up before
I should look it up myself. But anyway, he was here. He was at the Baldy doing the gold thing. Okay. So then he came over here to do all this to help his dad.
And I think Fred Lambert was the sheriff in Tombstone, and he got shot by Curly Bill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
what I think. Did he come back this way because he was young at that time?
Well, he must have been here before that because he died as a result of those wounds.
No, it wasn't him.
Wasn't him?
No.
Okay.
Because I knew Fred Lambert. He lived in the house here. That was Junior. And Fred Lambert came from being a shack for a president and started this cafe, this hotel place. Okay. But he did work at Baldy and his son, and then his son was a deputy, and then he was a great artist. And this is some of his paintings. You see, there's some of them right there.
Oh, okay, right there, the cowboy. That looks. Is that a painting of Will Rogers?
Yeah, it looks like. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is, but there's some authentic ones.
It looks like Will Rogers to me, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so then the Lucien Maxwell had this, and then you had Charles Springer and Edward Springer come over here. And the nephew was Les Davis from the East. He said after he finished Dartmouth, right here is the book.
So this guy, Lucien Maxwell, is a big name in this area. Well, not just this area, but even down as far as Lincoln County. And
because he died in Lincoln County. He left here in 1970 and died in 1975 over there. And he had a place. And then I hear it's privately owned now.
Right.
Redone.
So what is the model represent?
This here is his home. And it was across from the St. James this way.
Okay.
He came this way after going to Rayado with Kit Carson and wanting to do something for the Indians over there.
Okay.
Well, and then 10 years later, he came here and he liked the river, made this home, and it had maid's quarters and all kinds of stuff. So they said he ruled all his land like a man that, I mean, he meant business. But then other things that I read that if people needed a place to sleep, that he would let them go. So I always figured him as a visionary. So he got this started in 1860, and he hired a New York person to all.
Wow.
Original door to the Catholic Church.
What's that?
Those blue doors that are against the wall.
Oh, the blue doors from the Catholic Church. I see that.
Church with wide loose.
Oh yeah.
Because she was Catholic. He also built an old jail down there. Okay, so these were old cowboys, and Mary Lael was the lady that was the midwife, and Billy Whiteman was here also. These are all the cowboys that worked, and their names are here. So Littrell and Whiteman. Let me see here that we're from around this area. There's a bunch of this area that worked. It's like a coal mine, huh? So it was given by Mary Lael.
Wow.
And of course, Les Davis knew Naranjo. And all this is jewel and stuff that we fired. Indian jewelry.
Indians. Okay. Let me see. Oh yeah. Wow. What's that?
Look at that. And then, of course, this is the St. James on I'll show you. Okay, July 1911, when we're going to go into statehood. The St. James on the outskirts. I don't know why they're dressed like that. Oh.
Maybe it was Halloween.
No,
it says July. It does. Wow.
I was going to say, when somebody asked me that, I said, I should find out.
Celebration of the state constitution, ensuring further statehood. And that was 1911, but look at the scene. It looks like 1880. Mm-hmm. There's not a horseless carriage in sight.
Well, and you know, St. James is so famous for replicants going over there and raising cattle.
Oh, yeah.
Clay Allison and all them. The bullets and the ceiling and all that. But now it's new owners. So I don't know if they let you go in there. Somebody told me that they didn't let you go. Do you know them?
They will not let you film anymore, but I have 2 or 3 films that I did in the past couple of years. but they no longer will allow filming in that
Why
hall.
is that?
She said because people have been coming in and stealing things
No.
and destroying things, and it's like
What?
it didn't make any sense to me, but that's what
No,
she said.
this lady came. Her husband came. They were staying in Angel Fire at the St. James.
Oh,
He's very old. Mr. Lambert, who was a chef for one of the presidents, came this day to work at Baldy Mountain for gold.
Hmm.
And so he had a son also, and he's the one that he started the St. James Hotel, and he did a restaurant there. And they started. His son came, and he was also one of the youngest marshals in this area at 16. But yeah, in that time.
He was a U.S. Marshal,
Yeah.
the youngest one ever at age 16.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And he's the one that had on that wall.
amazing all the stuff that's in there.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
All the
Mr.
stuff.
Nairn, who owns the Casa de Calibán, is on this wall. You'll see him when you go up.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
I'll
then
go.
Dawson, I mean, not Dawson. You have Dawson on this side, and you have Baldy, Red River, and all them on this.
All right, I'll check
Enjoy.
it out. Thank you.
Through this top floor, it's so warm.
And here we are. There's an Edison phonograph. I don't see a year on that, but I bet it predates the Victrola we have in the Eagle Nest Museum. Yeah, that's definitely turn of the century stuff. All kinds of cameras. I see Kodak stuff. My dad worked for Kodak his whole career. There's a 20s Victrola. Ooh. Now we're going to go up to the 4th floor, which is where that wedding was. Lucien Maxwell, daughter, married against his wishes, and she did it on the 4th floor of his grist mill. Not a lot of light up here. I hope this is coming through. I think the wedding dress is in here. Hard to see. There's no light on in there, but there it is. So that's the actual dress worn by Virginia Maxwell for her wedding to Captain Alexander Keyes. I don't know why her father didn't want him to be his son-in-law, but it's on the 3rd floor. We're the 3rd floor technically because that was basement. So this is the 3rd floor, 4th. There's the wedding dress. And there's another picture of Lucien. I didn't know Lucien, but I'm looking at him and I don't think I'd want him mad at me. And look at all this stuff. And there's a mock-up of the happy couple getting married, the captain and Lucien's daughter there, looking out the window. I don't know what we have back here. Lots of glass things and furniture. An old-fashioned wheelchair, couple of wheelchairs, 3 wheelchairs. It says keep out, but I think I can put my camera in here. $1,000 reward for blackjack catching. Train robber. And there's old Fred Lambert. It's 16 years old, as you heard me before. Fred became the youngest U.S. Marshal, Deputy U.S. Marshal in history at age 16. And wow. Another picture of Lucien Maxwell. Oh, there's some documents here. It's hard for me to tell, I mean, even with my glasses, to read those documents. So maybe you could freeze them, freeze the frame and zoom in and see what those are. It's like medical stuff. And we're back down to the first floor here.
Not it. That home back. You know, everywhere. I was glad we don't have it. That's not to see that home. What'd you think about that? There was a light up there. She said there was something that went out.
There's no light inside the area where the clothing is. But I was able to see the dress, though. That's all I really wanted to see.
I wouldn't want
Just take another look at these firearms. Obviously authentic. Well, let's before we leave, let's walk around and look at the grounds here, around all the way around, to see what might be interesting. Nothing much in the rear there. We'll go to the other side of the building. I noticed a few things over there. Well, if you're here and you need a restroom, it's right here. I didn't know it was here, but look at these old wagons. What do you think of this? There's the key to Cimarron. Well, clearly that's some type of farming contraption there. Some looks like some old drill presses in the back. And a Fordson tractor. I doubt that'll start. What do you think? Well, that's going to conclude today's video. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the museum, and my feelings won't be hurt if you skipped over all my stuff talking for like 30, 40 minutes driving here. That's okay. To let you know, I got my laundry done. I was going to do the museum first, but it wasn't quite open, so I went and did my laundry, got that done, and so now I'm headed back to Eagle Nest, and I want to thank you for joining me at the Aztec Mill in Cimarron, New Mexico. I'll see you on the next video.